They got one of the best restaurants.
Wanted to get your hands dirty and see the whole process.
Wait, is this Taste of the Tavern?
Another day, another rainstorm, but it won't keep us from the studio. I'm Ben Hutchison alongside Jimmy Kokless, Director of Food and Beverage, and our Executive Chef, Dan Casey. It's great to do this regular schedule, gentlemen.
Yep.
Ben, it's pretty rad.
Pretty rad, that's a way to put it.
Pretty rad.
Kind of like our event last night, Tacos and Tequila. How did this come about?
Well, as a lot of our events come to life, we were probably talking about, I don't know, maybe tacos, maybe something Mexican inspired, and an event came out of it. So pretty cool. Some reps came to us not too long ago, asked about doing an event. We're slowly, maybe not slowly, but we're getting a good name for ourselves with the amount of work and execution we put into doing these events with these reps and vendors and liquor distributors and beer distributors and wine reps. So long story short, we literally just were sitting at the bar and talked about Avion and tequila, and tacos and tequila came out of it.
Tell us a little bit about behind the scenes in the kitchen for this one, Chef.
Chef Ben's team, I mean, believe it or not, most of the restaurant industry behind the scenes is Hispanic descent. So he really gave them, the green light to do what they do every day, which is make great things happen in the restaurant, but gave them complete control of the menu, number one. And we sort of just stood back and let them do the work and teach us what they do on a daily basis. So we saw lots of connection from them for making food that they've, learned to make from their grandmothers and mothers and fathers and all of this. And then saw not only an immense amount of pride happening in our kitchen yesterday, but I mean, really for 3 salaried managers to be able to be outdone by people who make us look good every single day and be like the stars of the show. One of the coolest events that I've been a part of. There were moments where, Ben, you made the video of Adrian, Gloria, and Lourdes sort of telling their story. And there were moments that I got lost in the event and was just kind of watching that on the screen and like taking it all in. It was super, super cool.
Yeah, that was cool. That was an idea that Jimmy brought to us late last week. Thanks for the time to get that done.
Ben, that's how it works, man.
I know, we got it done. So it was really cool, though, because as Chef said, that we sat them down, we interviewed them. They spoke Spanish, and we translated it, and it was really cool just to learn, hey, I grew up in this village, and we did this, and we worked together, my colleagues, my coworkers, we had a lot of different variety of food where I came from, and cooking, as you said, with their mother-in-law or their mother or grandmother. It was fun for me to learn a little bit about them. We go in and we say hi to them on a daily basis, and they're preparing for weddings and all the other events that we have, but it was nice to kind of sit down and sit back and just listen to what they had to say about it.
You know what's cool is we talk about this, and I think we talked about this early on, but it really came to light over the last few years. But listen, you have a group of people in your kitchen, in your front of the house, wherever, right, that have their own brain, right? They can provide more than just doing the job that you hired them for. And I think that's where it was cool to really tap into, hey, we're going to do a taco event. Why not have these 3 people that have been working with us for a few years, in banquets and prep? Why not have them execute this? And we do that with the line cooks in the tavern on every weekend for the most part with our features. Our feature, I don't know when the last time Chef Dan created a feature, in all honesty.
Just a lot of talent back there.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's definitely a good thing that you don't have to. I mean, you get writer's block as a chef, definitely, when you have to make a feature every weekend, and then if there isn't a better example of the tacos and tequila event of just pure good food. Like we ate staff meal a few times from those items, and again today for lunch, and you hear it from staff saying like, this is the best food, this is the best food. And it's because it's simple, it's soulful, it comes from the heart. Like it is just simple, good food. And as chefs, sometimes we try and force things and tweak things into these creations, and it's like, just cook from your heart and you'll be just fine.
And we really wanted to have this event outside, but obviously Mother Nature has different plans. It was in the low 50s to probably 40s during the event and a little bit rainy. So that's a little frustrating, but like everything, we pivot, and Chef Ben and Matt, one of our assistant managers, decorated the Great Hall and kind of transformed it into this awesome party space. So it was really fun walking into there and seeing all the food spread out and the tequila tastings, and we had 4 different cocktails being made. I think everyone had a great time.
Yeah, I think so too. From the guests that I spoke to, the guests I saw the conversations happening throughout the event. A lot of people were happy. Price point was dead on for what you got, what we put out. Yes, outside was the original thought and the original idea, but moving it into the Great Hall allowed us more capacity. So it was a blessing in disguise in the sense.
Yeah, and I think we talked yesterday, like we wouldn't have been able to decorate the room like the way that Chef Ben decorated yesterday. It wouldn't have been possible to do it outside.
No, with wind and stuff. Yeah,
paper decorations from the lanterns, and like it just happy accident came together.
It was cool.
See what we can come up with next. So let's go to the farm. We still have a farm. It's coming together. The weather has made that difficult as well. We have Angelica. She's been working hard in the greenhouse. And Chef, we've been able to get some sprouts out of it. We've had a couple little harvests. So what have you been able to make with that?
We've been getting about 8 ounces at a time of black oil sunflower sprouts. So that's the sprout of basically a sunflower. So I think, I don't know the exact germination or how old the plant is when we're getting it in the kitchen, but basically it's like a little baby shoot, and it has sort of like a sweet, crunchy texture to it, but like a sort of nuttiness, almost like when you eat sunflower seeds, you get like that nice nuttiness. So we've been putting it on the new strawberry salad that we've been running for the summer. It's a pad thai dressing, so it's peanut butter based in the dressing, so you have the nuttiness complementing there, and then the sweetness of it with the strawberries just sort of lends a nice texture against the foreground of the strawberries. It's really, really coming together, and it's just a nice addition to that salad.
I think if I'm thinking of the same ingredient, I read an article. It's supposed to have like this super anti-cancerous component to it if you eat it.
Yeah,
regularly.
Sunflower oil is super good for you.
Yeah, super healthy for you.
Anti-carcinogenic.
Yeah. So it's the same ingredient. Yeah, pretty cool. So we're not only, serving up some cool ingredients out of the farm, but we're curing cancer here.
Saving the world. In addition to that, we've been trying to construct the actual farm where we're going to kind of take some of these things, and she'll go out there and plant them on the golf course in between holes. And Chef, you've been pretty busy out there.
We've been moving cinder blocks. Well, it's been a little hiatus because of the rain, but there were probably 5 or 6 days there where myself, Chef Ben, Chef Sam, were just out there just walking back and forth with cinder blocks and just sort of placing them where they needed them. But yeah, it's sort of like most things at Mistwood. It's all hands on deck until the task is done, and then we'll move on, and there's a bunch of dirt and soil and manure and all this stuff that needs to go in those beds, and I'm sure we'll have a hand on that as well.
Even had Chef Bobby out there.
Chef Bobby was coming in early.
He went on his own
every day, just humping bricks back and forth.
He knocked out like a pallet by himself, maybe 2.
Bobby's got that old farm boy mentality, though. Yeah. That's easy work for him.
No, he's awesome.
But he got really sunburned the one day. His skin is paying for it.
What a guy. So why is that important for you to go out there and do that? I know you say all hands on deck, but personally, why do you want to get you and the crew out there?
I mean, it's just important to see it like a chef or a restaurateur would be there for the groundbreaking of a restaurant, right? It's, in a sense, the company's baby. Not many companies would invest into a chef, 1, into a culinary team, 2, and then allow them to be able to have their own farm. Not places would take that risk that we are taking without the support of the culinary team. So we just want to show everybody that we're serious about it, number 1, and that we really care, and we're excited. There's tons of excitement around this farm on the line and the chef team. It's going to be very new to all of us, and it'll take some getting used to, and where we're going to put stuff and how stuff's going to work, communication and all of those fun things. But definitely we want to be as hands-on as humanly possible, support Angelica in her venture, and just be a part of it.
I can't lie. That's a perfect transition because there's a lot of buzz around the property. We have our bees over there working hard right now. We had Pete the beekeeper. He actually brought a bunch of bees in this week to put in 5 more hives, and I think the bees like it over there so far. But Jimmy, we're still trying to figure out when we'll actually have the honey or harvest it to sell and things like that. Kind of where are we at with the honey right now?
So I'm no bee expert, but I believe that we have about 100 pounds of spring honey that can be harvested, I guess, at any moment right now. We are finalizing the label for our jar. Jars have been ordered, labels in production, almost finished. It's going to look great. And then we definitely will tap into the hives, no pun, and pull 100 pounds of honey out of there, get some 12-ounce jars canned up, and we will begin the process and put these in the market in the tavern for sale.
Chef, you already actually tried some.
I did.
How is it?
Well, I didn't try our honey necessarily, but I did try
to spring honey
from Pete, which they have many hives around the area, not just at Mistwood Golf Club. And yeah, it's
do you like it? Do you like spring honey better than
No, I prefer, I think we're on the same page that fall honey is sort of that magical honey that everybody is seeking, but it was good.
Yeah, that's
we're
the one I like.
replacing refined sugars in my house with honey 100%. So in the applications I've been using it for, you're not necessarily looking for the flavor as much as the health benefits of the honey, the anti-allergen properties, anti-inflammatory qualities, and that kind of thing.
And the sweetener part, yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Really cool. All right, now it's time for the roundtable. And for everyone listening, this is where I just throw out topics or controversies or other things that Chef and Jimmy don't know about or haven't heard about from me. They might know about it. So this one, first up from the BBC, how children use meal delivery apps and the rising popularity of online gaming could be driving obesity across Europe, the World Health Organization has said. So this is pretty interesting because I didn't know how many kids are using food apps and things like that, and it's a big part of our everyday lives. But these kids are gaming. They said that there's no European country on track to stop obesity rising by 2025.
Yikes.
Just gaming and eating. Not a lot of activity involved with that. So they said nearly 60% of adults and a third of children are overweight or obese, and the COVID pandemic has made it worse. I can attest to that.
Yeah, absolutely.
COVID didn't help anyone, I don't think, unless you really were just like, I'm going to do this. But anyways, you guys don't game, really, right? Don't. A little bit, but not.
Yeah, I'm not going like running home and jumping on, on
throwing the
FIFA
headset on
for 14 hours until I wake up for work the next day. I don't have that kind of time, but yeah, every once in a while for sure. Fun little Call of Duty or something. I don't know.
When I visited Europe, everyone was significantly healthier than in the United States. And like we felt and looked extremely out of place.
It's funny. We go to Europe every year just about, and that's the first telltale sign. You know who the tourists are, 100%. And traditionally, you know who the American tourists are, which is super weird, right? Yeah. Myself and my wife, I mean, we're not the fittest, and we're not, overweight, and we're not whatever, but people are like, "Oh, are you American?" It's like because you have a little belly fat, just a tiny bit, It's
a lot of pressure.
It is. I didn't feel the pressure until we went to Paris, and then I saw everybody there was just a very fit, thin person.
Just sipping in the cafes and sitting there looking at everyone else and judging them.
Yeah, they'd get one croissant, split a croissant, drink a coffee, ride their bike everywhere. It's healthy. I mean, yeah, good for them. Lots of cigarettes. I'm sure that helps too.
Oh, boy.
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't think gaming will be a problem at my house or Chef's house. I mean, Chef's literally always out and about doing things with his kids, and you guys, I feel like, put a lot of emphasis on, obviously, cleaner living as far as the food and activities.
My kids are probably too young to be gaming necessarily.
Or use food apps, yeah.
Yeah, but they will, they'll play games on, like a Kindle tablet or something, but... Yeah, we don't have cable in my house. We don't have gaming systems. We just kind of do activities but honestly, the activities we do are teaching them how to cook, and we eat a lot. So I'm a bigger guy, and living in a house with bigger people necessarily. But I think what you're seeing with obesity problems is a terrible sugar problem in our country. Like we put corn syrup in everything, and then in Europe, there's lots of non-processed foods. Like if you have a croissant for breakfast, it's good wheat, good butter, and it'll process through your body much different than say, a Dunkin' Donuts sandwich, which, I like too, but your body doesn't digest things the same when they're processed.
A lot of things there are banned from being used in food, right? Even down to Coca-Cola. The Coca-Cola in Europe is different than the States, right? There's corn syrup, high fructose corn syrup in the one in the States, and in Europe it's all cane sugar. So it's still sugar, but it's natural. So it's broken down in your body in a different way, I would assume. Again, not scientist. It's just my opinion.
Yep.
Oh, we're all learning. Food truck season is upon us, where everyone starts firing up the food trucks. Some of them work over the winter, but you'll see a lot more now. So I know we've talked about it over the years, the kind of dream of should we get a food truck, things like that. But if you were going to do a food truck, what kind of food truck would it be? This is personally, not as far as like we go. Like, what kind of food would you sell?
I already have the thing locked in. I've always wanted to do it. I've always wanted a food truck where the skin or the facade on the outside was made look like a log cabin. And then I always loved like breakfast sausage on a stick, like where you dip it in pancake batter and it was like a corn dog. And then you just do like sriracha maple syrup. And so I guess it would be breakfasty food truck a little bit, but sort of just sausages on stick.
Like pigs in a blanket?
Yeah, like pigs on it. Have you ever had like the frozen, it's like a corn dog, but it's breakfast sausage and then the outside is basically pancake. Mm-hmm. But yeah, different sausages dipped in different batters, sort of corn dog style, but different flavor combinations. You could do like an andouille sausage with sort of like an Old Bay batter on the outside, but just like that log cabin feel, meat on a stick, primitive sort of fun feel to it.
We've gone to too many carnivals.
No, this has been like
It's really good.
This has been
I'm kidding.
since like, I don't know, 10 years.
That's awesome.
Like there was another guy named John Grigoni at the Ritz-Carlton, and me and him would always talk about the log cabin food truck. I just could see the look of it just like driving down the road. Be like, yes, the meat on the stick food truck.
Is that the name of it? The meat on the stick?
No, I have no idea. The concept didn't really go.
You just knew what it looked like.
You asked the question, and I already had something in my subconscious that I've thought about before.
It's really good.
That is good.
Jimmy?
I would do, and again, very stereotypical of me, but I would do a Euro sandwich, but not the traditional Euro sandwiches that you would get here. The ones in Europe are much, much different, especially in Greece. It's literally much different. It's not as processed as what you would find here with beef and lamb. There it's pork. They stuff French fries in it. They put a little bit of paprika. It's just different. I can't even describe it, but that's all I would do. It would be that. Nice. I don't know that I would serve
the meat is
else.
like almost like al pastor, like
it's
tacos, right?
Exactly like al pastor. Yeah, it's layered instead of compressed and compact and processed like the Euro sandwich shops that you would see here. But yeah, no, that's like the first thing I have anytime I get off the plane in Greece. It's our first stop usually, and they're cheap. They're like €150, which is like $2 a sandwich. So they're dirt cheap. It's poor people food, but it's fantastic.
Yeah.
Could I just get that with like tzatziki and feta cheese on it and call it a day?
Yeah.
At your truck, or would you make me get like tomato and onion?
No, I know you don't like vegetables, so we'd skip the tomatoes.
Tzatziki sauce is just sour cream and cucumbers. Like they're
actually yogurt.
hidden vegetables.
It's yogurt.
Well, yeah, I'm sure
the real
it's
stuff.
yogurt in Greece.
I love it. It's like my favorite sauce out there.
Yeah, because I haven't figured out how to do an Italian red sauce mom and pop
Food truck.
Italian restaurant in a food truck. Have not figured that part out yet.
A lot of variety. I think for me, you got to think about doing something different. Like you've seen the giant pork chop on a stick type thing that we talk about at carnivals. I know there's a grilled cheese specific one out there, but for me, I'd love to just hook up one of those, which I know it's out there, just one of those big wood fire ovens and do the pizzas. So you could just kind of turn those out. You get a good crowd. You got 6 of those going in there, just spinning them in and out. And I just love wood fire pizza. That's something that we talked about this week, but I really need to invest in that this summer and get one of those little wood fire ovens or whatever.
Yeah, I can't
sounds
wait to
good.
get ours.
Yeah.
Chef's got one. I was jealous. I got one. We're going to have a pizza party.
That's where I got jealous then. Yeah.
Ben's jealous. Ben's buying one.
That's my sister-in-law when we went to Oregon last year that was their wedding. So the wedding food was, they had a food truck come with wood-fired pizza. Man, I wish I could remember the name of it now, but it was like a big line at the reception, and they were like cranking out pizzas, and you just got your pizza, and then like went and sat down, and that was the wedding. It was pretty cool.
I love that. That's awesome. All right, final topic before we wrap things up. You know what this time of year also means? Farmers market season. Yeah. People can get outside. I know that's something that chefs definitely got to be excited about. Do you guys like to go to those? Is there anything specific you look for when you head out to the farmers markets?
The thing I love about farmers markets is, I mean, in the Midwest, we are very, very like certain stuff comes at certain times. Like right now, if you went to a farmer's market, it would just be asparagus everywhere. And then in the summertime, you slowly start to see the berries come through. And then in the wintertime, obviously the squash and the fall and all that stuff. But what I like about farmers markets is just being able to talk to the person that grew your food or knows the person, or my dad grows this food, or yada, yada. And it's also cool around here is you basically see the same farmers go to the same farmers markets. Like if Nichols Farm in Indiana will go to the Plainfield one, and then the Green City Market downtown, and then go to the other one. So you could catch them 3 days a week. Usually they do like Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday, or whatever around here. And you could talk to the same people or different people from the same farm. They try to hit them all. That's obviously how they make their money. But yeah, just that connection. Like on Tuesday when Aaron drops off eggs here at Mistwood, it's like you see that person for 10 minutes a week, but you could really build a relationship in 10 minutes. It's fun.
I like seeing a lot of different options. I like looking at fresh things. I'm not necessarily looking to buy something, one thing per se, but I don't know. When I walk through those places, I get a lot of good ideas. A lot of things come to mind, and yeah, I mean, there's no thing that I'm looking after.
I just love cheese, so I like to see what kind of cheese people bring. And then my wife, she really likes the fresh pickles that you can get in the jars, and they're always really good. And then you throw one of those on a burger or hot dog later in the day. It's just, I don't know, knowing that you're supporting mostly a small business, in a lot of cases, a family farm, a family business, it's rewarding, I think, in that way too, that you just want to help out.
Like, I mean, I could tell a quick story. When I worked at the Ritz-Carlton, we would go, the Museum of Contemporary Art was across the street. So they would have their farmers market on Wednesday, and then Green City Market has theirs also on Wednesday, but also on Saturday. So we would try to hit the vendors on Wednesday and then see the same vendors on Saturday. There was a gentleman, his name was Tim Burton, not that Tim Burton, but Tim Burton. But he specialized in maple syrup. So his Burton's Maplewood Farm is in Medona, Indiana, which is the southernmost point that maple trees produce maple syrup in the entire world. So it goes only to Indiana. There's nothing south. It's too hot or too cold. But the executive chef at the time, Mark Payne, loved this maple syrup. He was like the usual stand, right? Like a table with 6 jars of honey, but it was maple syrup. So we tried the maple syrup, and then he asked him if he would be able to do it on a scale to support the hotel. And he said, yeah, like he had acres and acres and acres of maple trees. So we would get 2 5-gallon buckets of maple syrup, and that would last us like 2 weeks. So we would get 4 a month. And then the Four Seasons across the street, the Ritz-Carlton was a Four Seasons hotel, but there was another Four Seasons downtown, sort of caught on and started using it also. And then all of a sudden it was like the Publican, and then Girl and the Goat. And now all of a sudden it's like everybody's using Burton's Maplewood Farm syrup. Now Tim he grows persimmons trees on his property as well. He's got persimmons, salsa in Whole Foods. He sells maple syrup to, I think it's like 338 restaurants nationwide, and now has his own booth at Disney's Epcot. Just because one guy liked his maple syrup at a farmer's market.
That's pretty cool. And you were the first to try it.
Yeah, it was cool. And he used to like come, and if you look up, you should look up Burton's Maplewood Farm. And if you see a picture of Tim, he always wears like this brim hat, or he's got like a lumberjack style hat. He always wears a green vest, and he's a big guy too. And he's got like a presence when he comes, but he would like totally not be that guy. Like he would give you a hug. Like it was not a handshake. It was like, bring it in for the real thing, brother. And he would like give you a hug. And it was like when Tim was on property, it was always pretty cool. And then he drives a 1952, I think it's like a Ford, like a truck. I can't remember the name. It's like Susie or something, but it's like a red truck with like wood paneling, and he would like drive that to the city. And this guy, when he would come to the city, because he lives in Indiana, so he would come into the city and like give 10 buckets to different hotels, and then it's like he could stay wherever he wants. So we used to like put him up at the Ritz, and he would stay for free, or he could go to like Trump Hotel or the Peninsula or something like that, but he would just be able to like stay in the city for free. So yeah, it was pretty cool.
That's awesome.
Love that story.
Yeah, that's really cool.
All right, well, we'll see how our farm can blow up and what we can do. And
Well, we talked about Angelica and I going to sell our honey at farmers markets.
Yeah.
And that's not because you need to sell honey. That's because, I mean, it's cool. Like when you're at a farmers market, it's more a social thing than like buying stuff necessarily. Like nobody has enough product at a farmers market to like bring back to a restaurant. Like you're not going to buy 40 pounds of tomatoes, but you meet the person and then build a relationship, and then they could bring you 40 pounds of tomatoes. Farmers markets are marketing. That's what it is.
good way to put it. All right, everyone. That's this week's episode. We'll do it again in 2 weeks. Thank you, gentlemen. It's always a pleasure, and we will see all of you next time.
Bye.
Bye. I love you.
They got one of the best restaurants.
Wanted to get your hands dirty and see the whole process.
Wait, is this Taste of the Tavern?